Welcome to the Best Little Town Podcast, your go-to source for everything happening in the town of Bedford's local government. Whether it's new initiatives or important decisions shaping our town's future, you'll hear it right here. This podcast is dedicated to keeping our residents informed and engaged.
Greetings, salutations, and welcome to this episode of the Best Little Town Podcast, brought to you by the town of Bedford, in association with our media partners, Media Squatch. My name is Bart Warner. I'm the town manager of Bedford. It's my privilege to serve you in that capacity and also to play the role of host for this effort to provide greater information to our citizens, businesses, visitors, and other interested parties into the happenings of the town government and in our community, which we tout as being the world's best little town. This past Tuesday night, July 9th, there was a regular meeting of the town council. I'll begin that recap by noting an interesting administrative aspect of that, which namely was the fact that Councilman Todd Foreman attended the meeting via electronic means. Todd was out of town as part of his work-related duties, but did fulfill his obligations to the community in his role as councilman by calling in and participating by video. In order to do that, according to their bylaws, the council had to approve Todd's participation, and of course they did so unanimously before opening the regular meeting agenda. After approving the minutes from the previous meeting, I gave my report to council as follows. The Chamber of Commerce is hosting its 85th Excellence in Business Awards Gala event on Thursday, September 12th at Cedar Oaks Farm. If you're interested in learning more about that event, please reach out to the Bedford Area Chamber of Commerce. Also, with the current hot July weather we're experiencing, the electric utility wishes to remind folks that with the increased use of air conditioning and the increased demands on our power system, it's reasonable to anticipate some higher than normal electric bills probably showing up as early as next month. We also note that this kind of weather, which is actually over several years somewhat normal, temperatures for the last couple of years have been a little milder in July than we would usually expect. But when it is hot like that, it tends to expose weaknesses in our system more often due to the increased demand. One of the primary charges of our electric utility is to provide reliable service. We hope it never goes out, but if your power does go out, our commitment is to restore it as soon as possible. Understand also that the hot weather is a challenge for our crews who have to respond in person to do that. For all these related matters, the billing and the time it takes us to restore power outages, we appreciate your patience and we ask for your continued indulgence. St. John's Episcopal Church and the Bedford Presbyterian Church are partnering to offer an outreach ministry entitled Fresh Start Shower and Suds. Persons who are experiencing housing insecurity and need a place to shower or do laundry can do so subject to volunteer availability at 112 Center Street on Monday and Wednesday mornings from 7 a.m. to 11 o'clock a.m. and on Thursday evenings from 4 o'clock p.m. to 8 o'clock p.m. More information about this ministry can be obtained from Tim Brook, who happens to be our colleague in the Bedford Police Department. Tim can be reached via email at copinbedford@gmail.com, or you can call him on his cell phone at 434-944-2461. The only other thing I had to report Tuesday night was an addition to the council agenda, which was approval of a Battle of the Bands event sponsored by the Central Virginia Business Coalition to take place at Liberty Lake Park on August 17th from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. In appearances before council, we were joined by Ms. Janet Roby, who noted that she is a member of an organization called Concerned Women for America, who have taken it upon themselves to pray for all public institutions and public officials. And during the meeting, she cited scripture, specifically Colossians chapter 1, verses 9 through 11, and offered prayer for town council and its deliberations Tuesday night. During council comments, Councilman Darrell Updike noted the passing of Randall Fletcher, who was a longtime officer with the Bedford Police Department. Of course, we remember his service with gratitude, and we ask for prayers of comfort for his family and loved ones. Councilman Stacey Haley thanked all those who were in attendance Tuesday night, and we did have a better than average crowd in terms of what we usually have physically in attendance at the council meeting. Vice Mayor C.G. Stanley complimented town staff for their work in pulling off the July 3rd fireworks display, and also recognized Jonathan Hayden, who sponsored a very successful event at Liberty Lake Park that evening as well. CG noted that on June 22nd, he participated in a cleanup day sponsored by the Chamber of Commerce and the town of Bedford. He specifically thanked Foster Garrett of the Bedford Chamber and Mary Zirkle of town staff for putting together this event. CG noted that he worked alongside Councilman Foreman, Councilman Updike, and also Mr. Dwight Evans, who is a candidate for council this November as part of the cleanup effort. He noted that he appreciated the others who were involved as well, and noted that it might be time to revive the activities of the Keep Bedford Beautiful Commission based on those observations. Councilman Todd Foreman likewise thanked those who were in attendance. Mayor Tim Black had several items of note Tuesday night. He also complimented the police department, the public works department, and all staff involved with the fireworks display on July 3rd, as well as extending compliments to Jonathan Hayden, otherwise known as DJ Showtime, for the event at Liberty Lake Park. Tim noted that on Monday night he will be attending a neighborhood meeting at Longwood Avenue, which is targeted for neighbors of that particular street, to discuss speeding and traffic behavior issues along that particular corridor. And with that in mind, Tim reminded citizens to keep their speed and the posted speed limits in mind as they travel around town. Mayor Black also recognized Reverend Henry Henderson of Washington Street Baptist Church for 55 consecutive years of service to that congregation and his commitment to the community. Moving forward with the business items of council that were addressed on July 9th, the first item was the Battle of the Bands special event permit request brought to us by the Central Virginia Business Coalition. That permit was unanimously approved by a vote of 5 members present, 2 members absent. Again, that event will take place on August 17th from 5 o'clock p.m. to 9 o'clock p.m. at Liberty Lake Park. It is an event that has been held in the past and has been very popular, and we encourage people to keep an eye out and come out and support those musicians and the organizations as well. Moving into the new business portion of the agenda, Jim Messier, who is the chair of the Bedford Redevelopment and Housing Authority, gave a presentation regarding that group's strategic plan and their activities. As their name implies, that group is tasked primarily with keeping an eye on the quality of structures and housing, particularly in Bedford, and making sure that things are conducted at an adequate level, and that where there may be areas in which folks need assistance, they can provide that assistance. That group in particular has been administering a community development block grant program for the past few years in the Hilltop neighborhood, which is roughly around South Bridge Street and King Street. Phase 1 of that project involved the improvement of 11 homes in the neighborhood. They have recently undertaken Phase 2, which is rehabilitation of another 9 homes, and are pursuing a third phase, which would expand rehabilitation efforts into the Centertown area. Again, that is through the Community Development Block Grant, or CDBG program, which is a federal level grant program administered by the Virginia Department of Housing and Community Development. In addition, they offer grants to homeowners for improvements to meet code requirement regulations in areas where folks may need some assistance or further mitigation. They have also recently acquired 2 lots on South Street, which they intend to look at redevelopment on their own, perhaps construction of affordable housing or marketing those lots for that purpose. The next item on the council agenda was review of a request for proposals document related to the electric rates charged by the town's electric utility. In addition to looking at the rates we charge and comparing those to the neighboring utilities, council also is looking to obtain the services of a third-party consultant to evaluate our services and the manner in which those are provided. Council verbally approved release of the request for proposals on July 17th, and submittals in response to that RFP will be due August 16th. Council, in their discussions, decided to appoint a committee to include Electric Director John Wagner, Finance Director Ann Cantrell, and 1 or 2 members of council to be the selection committee to evaluate the firms that respond to the RFP. The next item of new business related to the town's policy regarding utility service procedures and terms and conditions of services related to our electric operation. There are specific policies which govern the manner in which accounts are set up, in which we read meters, and in which we provide services to our electric customers. The current document was adopted back in 1996. I want to recognize the efforts of Finance Director Ann Cantrell and our Electric Director John Wagner in recognizing the need to revisit those. Council had significant discussion about that document. The document itself is 18 pages long. There were a few changes that were noted that need to be considered. That will be brought back before council at a future date for formal action and approval. The next item of new business to come before the town was a request from the Bedford Elks Lodge for exemption from real estate taxes. The Bedford Elks Lodge currently operates out of a storefront on West Main Street in the town of Bedford. They have been granted such exemption by Bedford County and are following up with the town to obtain similar relief. John Owen spoke on behalf of the local lodge and provided a wealth of information regarding their services to the community and to the citizens of the area in general. Council did discuss the matter. There are certain criteria under the Code of Virginia that have to be met. Council encouraged the lodge to complete an application citing those requirements, at which time they would come back and a public hearing would be held on that request. Please be on the lookout for future agendas when we receive that information from the Elks Lodge and also receive review and go ahead from the town's attorneys. The last item of business at the council meeting was something of a housekeeping item, but something very important, and that is a restatement of the town's written position on equal employment opportunity. That is updated on a regular basis, and when it is approved by town council, the signed written statement is posted on our legal posting board within the municipal building. The statement, which council adopted Tuesday night, which is in effect for the current year, states as follows. The town of Bedford is an equal opportunity employer, and hereby affirms that it is the policy of the town to maintain and promote equal opportunity and diversity for all employees, applicants for employment, and contractors in accordance with the relevant federal and state laws. The town will not discriminate on the basis of race, religion, color, national origin, sex, age, disability, marital status, veteran status, sexual orientation, ancestry, or citizenship status. In support of a diverse workforce, decisions as to hiring, promotion, and other aspects of the employment relationship will be based solely upon job-related qualifications. The town will not tolerate any kind of harassment of employees or retaliation against an employee who brings a complaint forward. Allegations of harassment will be taken seriously, promptly investigated, and appropriate action taken depending on the severity of the situation. That was adopted on the 9th day of July, 2024, and certified by Mayor Tim Black. And that concluded the business activity of Town Council. As a reminder, our council meets the second and fourth Tuesdays of every month at the council chamber, which is located in the upstairs portion of the municipal building at 215 East Main Street. Those meetings begin at 7 o'clock p.m. on those second and fourth Tuesdays each month. We are always glad to have folks come attend in person and speak to us in person. But if you're not able to do so, we also provide streaming service through Media Squatch, and we do post those recorded meetings on our YouTube site as well. As always, we encourage your direct participation and your questions and suggestions. If there's something on your mind at any time regarding the workings of town government, I'd like to hear from you personally. Again, my name is Bart Warner. I can be reached by email at bwarner@bedfordva.gov, or you can dial the main number at Town Hall at 540-587-6001. Again, we're always glad to receive any input we can because we are committed to doing our share in making this the best community possible. We thank you for your contribution to that. And if we're not truly the world's best little town, we certainly hope we're on the path to claiming that status. Till the next time, when I hope you can join me, I thank you very much for your attention, and I look forward to seeing you in the community and meeting with you again in this meeting.